Marcel, Barthel and Gunther called up to Smackdown. Zack Sabre Jr. fails in his attempt to capture the NJPW World Heavyweight Championship. First round matches have been announced for the Progress Atlas tournament. Rev Pro UK have announced the Great British Tag League. Meet Wagon R2 challenge the Kings of the North for the ICW Tag Team titles at ICW Bard, and the NWA and TNT Extreme Tag titles will be on the line in a titles versus titles match at TNT Extreme, going off big time. Hello and welcome to TNT, a Great British Wrestling podcast for Great British Wrestling, as featured on Bodyslam.net, brought to you by Power4 TV. I am your host, the Great British Tag Team, Mr. Andrew Moore, and each and most, joined as always by the co-host. Here's Big Daddy Dan, Mr. Daniel Allen, just Dan for short.
Good evening. How are we?
I'm well, just about. How are you?
I'm a little bit gutted. I'm going to be honest with you. Wasn't meant to be here this evening. I was meant to be at a gig in Birmingham, seeing an amazing band called Crawlers, and the lead singers lost their voice.
Oh no!
Yes. So instead, I am going to be here extolling the virtues of British wrestling.
Well, I'm pretty much glad we're getting it done today, because if we were to do it tomorrow, then the following day we have two scheduled interviews that day. And on top of everything else that I'd have to do, I'd be a very busy and tired boy.
How exciting are these two interviews? I know we can't say too much right now, but oh my God.
Yes, big interviews coming up. I mean, I know we've been delivering specials all week, as it's been the last couple of weeks, because we didn't do the last Brit-Wres roundup because there was so much Wrestlemania traffic. We just didn't feel like we needed to. But of course, this week it is Brit-Wres-A-Mania, pal.
Oh, brother.
Yes, that's right. We will be talking about all the British action during the Wrestlemania. We'll be talking about what the top British stars are out there doing at the moment before booking our own Brit-Wres-A-Mania, a 9-match card with celebrity guests and musical guest and the celebrity match. We are throwing it all at you and plenty of news. We'll be rounding up the latest of NXT UK, providing the results for a few Rev Pro UK shows, Progress shows, and a WXW show. Not going to review them, just going to provide you the results and give you my final score at the end.
A million points.
A million, indeed. But okay, let's kick it off. Let's start with the Wrestlemania feed. Let's get that out of the way. Again, the same thing. We're just going to kind of read the results, and I think we'll just give a score for how we felt the guys did in their matches. Okay. So, first of all, it was NXT Standard Deliver. Imperium, Eichner and Barthel were in a tag team triple threat match against MSK and the Creed brothers. What did you think of Eichner's and Barthel's performance?
I actually really enjoyed it. I think that if this is the last time we see them tagging together, it was a good demonstration of how amazing a tag team they can be.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be talking about the rest part of this and why it's a bit of a shame that it doesn't seem to be keeping them together. But personally, I'll give their performance a good 3.5 sugars, and I'll give the match 3 sugars.
Yep, I'll go with that. Okay,
the other match, Gunther was in action against LA Knight. Now, I know he does look a bit more muscly than he used to, but he doesn't look a bit as big as he used to.
He has been interviewed about this, where he said that he loved it how back in Japan in the day you could have a little bit of a belly, a little bit of a bod, and still be a hard-hitting wrestler. But now you have to go with what is modern.
I mean, I guess, but it's still the same in Japan. Look at Shota Umino and Yota Tsuji. They're big boys. They're muscly boys, but they're not toned muscly boys. They're, you know...
Well, neither's Gunther. I can't even... Neither's Walter yet.
Yeah. And especially the splash does not look as imposing as it used to be.
No, that definitely doesn't. You're very correct there.
Overall, his performance 4 sugars, the match 3 sugars.
That's harsh. I would say 3.5 and 3.5. I like LA Knight a lot, so yeah.
I like LA, and I'm not saying that he was bad in the match. I thought Walter was very good in the match because he's Walter. He's good every time he goes out there. He just does what he does. This match overall was just not on Walter's usual level of physicality, brutality, and even technical acumen. So it's, you know, I'm not saying LA Knight is fantastic. I've always been a fan, but overall, match 3 sugars, Walter's performance 4.
Okay.
And I say post Wrestlemania, of course, Gunther and Marcel Barthel have been brought up to SmackDown. Marcel Barthel will now be Ludwig Kaiser.
I wonder where they got the suggestions for the name.
Just got the German name dictionary out and gone 1, 2. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's better than Marcel Barthel, but they changed his name from Axel Dreiter Jr. to Marcel Barthel. Why did they see the need to change it again for a 3rd time? It's like, you know, do they just want to think that NXT is no longer canon? Anything that happens in NXT just does not exist anymore in their world.
God knows.
Yeah, anyway, we'll talk about another person who's recently made his appearance, of course. Also in action, let's see. Drew McIntyre had a match with Happy Corbin. I am going to go with 3 and 3.
Really? That's kind of you. I was going to go with 2.5 and 2.5.
There you go.
Didn't feel the love for this one at all, really. It was okay, but this could have just happened on a Raw. There was no need for this to happen at Wrestlemania.
Yeah. And McIntyre and Corbin, just didn't seem to have any edge to it. And I mean, I don't know, but Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, I'm going to give her performance as 3.5 sugars, and I'm going to give the match 4 sugars.
I'm going to give 4 and 4, and I think this was the best match of WrestleMania weekend, full stop.
Honestly, you could be right. I felt a little bit let down because of how much hype was around it, but I wonder if that built up too much anticipation, plus knowing the results and the emotions not there with it as well. Maybe just didn't feel like it's because everyone on Twitter was going on how about this was like one of the greatest matches ever. And it was a good match. Don't doubt that. Very good match. But
well, I watched it live, you see, so that probably helped.
Yeah, I thought Bianca Belair's performance was a star-making performance. She was absolutely amazing. If I was going to rate it, I thought she was higher than Becky was in the match.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And oh god, the worst to last. Sheamus and Ridge Holland versus the New Day. Can I just go 0 and 0? This was just absolutely not worth it. They went out there, did like 2 minutes.
I never even watched it because I never saw it happen.
And my god, they've turned poor Pete Dunne into scrappy goddamn do.
God off you.
It was. I looked at him and I thought, okay, maybe I'll get over what he's wearing. But they've got him acting like he's some crazy.
Butch.
No.
Hey, Butch.
No.
Hey, Butch.
He butchered, all right. They butchered. They butchered Pete Dunne is what they did.
So let's go to the upside. Let's talk about other things that are happening with British stars around the world.
Well, not particularly great start to it. Zack Sabre Jr. actually failed in his attempt to become the NJPW World Heavyweight Champion. He was defeated Kazuchika Okada at New Japan's Hyper Battle. This was this past Saturday. I actually thought this match was going to be taking place a lot later. Usually the New Japan winner faces off against the champion at Dominion. So it was quite a surprise, but it was a really good match. Was it as good as Ospreay Okada? No. Was it one of the best Zack Sabre Jr. matches? Yes. I would give Zack Sabre Jr. 4.5, and I would give this match 4.5.
Wow, that's very high praise.
It's Zack Sabre Jr. and Kazuchika Okada. You know, if you include Will Ospreay, they are on another level when it comes to wrestling. And Okada is one of the best in the world. Zack Sabre Jr. is as well. And yeah. Will Ospreay was in action. I did miss his match, but has joined the United Empire is Francisco Akira.
Yay!
Go on, Akira. The Fireball has joined the United Empire. He has become Will Ospreay's new protege. Although, you know, when I saw it was my protege is coming, I was like, they're not bringing Callum Newman to New Japan already, are they? But of course, I saw the jacket and it was like, oh no, it's going to be Francisco Akira. But it's still a huge announcement. He's going to be in the upcoming Super Juniors tournament. I heard there's a lot of names being mentioned, thrown about. Could be interesting. I'd like to see Michael Oku, maybe. New Japan.
I'd love to see that.
Really would love to see that.
Yeah.
Will Ospreay himself is going to be a very, very busy boy over the next little while. He's got confirmed appearances in New Japan Strong, Warrior Wrestling, Rev Pro UK, OTT, and more. On April 15th, it's New Japan Strong against John Moxley. On April 23rd, Warrior Wrestling, he faces Blake Christian. At West Coast Pro, he faces Titus Alexander. And that's before he makes his Rev Pro UK match against Minoru Suzuki on May the 22nd. And that's with stop-offs back and forth to New Japan. Oh, and the May 5th one is OTT as well. So he's a busy, busy boy. He's going to be flying all about, literally. I don't think he's ever really going to be settled in a country for more than a couple of days.
He's going to be enjoying his hotels. Yeah,
he's going to be enjoying his hotels indeed. But good to see, nice and busy, promoting New Japan Wrestling and British Wrestling. Chris Brooks recently became the DDT King of Division tag team champions alongside Masahiro Takanashi. And they are known as the Calamari Drunken Kings.
He does like his calamari, doesn't he?
Well, he's got those long old arms, doesn't he? Calamari catch king. Yeah, so Calamari Drunken Kings this time. And yes, new tag team champions. Congratulations to Chris Brooks.
Well done, sir. Nick Aldis has made his return to Impact Wrestling at Impact's Multiverse of Madness. He teamed up with his real-life wife, the wonderful Mickie James, against the team of Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green, husband and wife versus husband and wife.
Indeed, I think they picked up the win as well.
I believe so.
Yeah, good to see Nick Aldis doing big things. He deserves it. I never understood why he never got a WWE run. One of the best British wrestlers, and he held that NWA championship with pride. And
he made it look good.
He really did. Yeah. Right, now we know what every British wrestler pretty much around the world is doing right now. It is time to book our fantasy Brit-Wres-A-Mania.
Oh, who have you got singing your national anthem?
I haven't gone for the national anthem. I'm scrapping the national anthem. I'm going for a musical guest appearance by no other than Man Like the Reese.
Okay, that's fun. I mean, I've got Ed Sheeran singing the national anthem.
I almost chose Ed Sheeran for my national anthem, and then I went, no, I just don't want to do the national anthem. Maybe I could get a concert with Ed Sheeran. But I wasn't sure if Ed Sheeran was still doing music or not.
Oh, yes, very much so.
So I went with Man Like the Reese, because I literally, as you know, I don't know much about British music right now. Anyway, who are your celebrity guest hosts?
My celebrity guest host is one of the greats of the British drag race scene. I have chosen the Vivian because they are so entertaining, so much fun, and I think they would bring the life and soul and party to my Brit-Wres-A-Mania.
I hummed and hawed about my guest, and I went with a team in the end. They're well known for working together. Is Freddie Flintoff, Jamie Redknapp, and Jack Whitehall.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I just don't know if they'd take the wrestling part of it seriously.
I was worried about that, but I think Flintoff would. Whitehall maybe not, but I'm expecting Whitehall to get.
Well, he's already been involved, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's going to get a big Damo crusher or something.
Because he brought out the belt for AEW when they first started.
They did, yeah. It was very weird.
It was. There's no two ways about that.
Okay. What is your opening match?
My opening match is going to completely blow away everything. It is a 4-person, 4 corners match. 4 teams of 4. We're going to have Northwest Strong, Bridgeway, Jacobs, Young, and Oberman versus the 0121 represented by Doris, Maloney, Banks, and Fleisch. We are then going to have the close personal friends, Callum Newman, Danny Black, Maverick Mayhew, and Just Yolando. And then, this is where you're going to argue with me, in my 4th corner, CCK, Lycos Jim, Chris Brooks, and Jonathan Gresham.
I'll let you have Jonathan Gresham, although I think you should have maybe chose Drew Parker. Yeah. Bring another Brit back. Although he's never officially been a member of CCK, he has teamed with both Chris Brooks and Kid Lycos at times.
So tell me, what do you think of that match?
It's a very, very exciting match. Jody Fleisch. I'm not sure Jody Fleisch is technically South London, but I'm sure the 8-7 would welcome him in. Well, I'm not sure where Fleisch is actually based.
I have no clue.
No, not a clue. I think he's a little further south though, but no problem with that at all. It is a fun opening match. Callum Newman guys, they will just go absolutely nuts. It will be crazy. I've gone for a bit more subdued opener, although it should be crazy in and in itself. Mm-hmm. And it involves a couple of the teams you mentioned. It is CCK, which will be Chris Brooks and both members of Lycos Gym. You could have also had Nico Angelo because he's a member of Lycos Gym.
I could have, but he's not a member of CCK.
Yeah. And then you've got the 8-7, Warren Banks, Roy Johnson, and Alexanderov. Now we know why this match is here. The CCK boys, they've wronged Banks, and it needed to be addressed. So that's the match I chose. My second match of the night is a triple threat action. It is Alex Windsor, Nixon Newell, and Becky Lynch.
I'm feeling guilty for not having included Nixon Newell.
It's just my I originally just had it down as a singles match, but I didn't have a match for Becky Lynch. So I just decided to tag her on the end. But I truly believe Alex Windsor and Nixon Newell to be the 2 best British wrestling women. And I hope Nixon Newell can really get over her knee injuries and come back strong on the independent scene when she does return. And yeah, as I say, she's an amazing. So yes, triple threat action, Alex Windsor, Nixon Newell versus Becky Lynch.
For my second match, I have gone for my returning legend, Robbie Brookside, teaming with Charlie Dempsey, managed by Mr. William Regal.
I forgot my returning legend match.
And they are going to be taking on Ian Skinner and Charles Weiss, managed by my celebrity, Sir Alan Sugar, because he's a well-known Tory. Okay. And I reckon that he would be up for some wrestling shenanigans.
Okay.
And I want to see them come out with the soundtrack to The Apprentice.
Okay, what is your third up match?
You're going to love this one. I thought of you when I booked this one. Ricky Knight Jr. versus Zack Sabre Jr. One-on-one, no shenanigans, just good, hard British wrestling.
I like it a lot. And I must admit, out of everything, unfortunately, RKJ did get left off my... there's a few names I really wish I could have, but just didn't quite
No, that's fine. This is why we both have different setups.
Indeed. And in my third matchup of the night would be Nick Aldis versus Drew McIntyre.
That would work.
Former NW World Champion versus former Raw Champion. Hard hitting. It'll be brutal. It'll be technical. These are two big lads, two big heavyweight lads, and I think this will be an absolute great match.
My next match also features Nick Aldis, but he is in a tag team with the Ambassador, Douglas Williams. The British Invasion are back, and they are taking on Sunshine Machine. Sunshine Machine.
Nice. I went for a tag team match as well to round out. It is the Grizzled Young Veterans versus Pretty Deadly.
Nice.
I said it. I personally believe that these are the two best tag teams in the world. Better than the Bucks, better than FTR, better than the Briscoes, better than GOD. Any other? I'm just saying it. Grizzled Young Veterans, Pretty Deadly. Or I think they're going as the models now on NXT.
All right, I haven't heard that. I'd heard the names. So I thought Elton Prince was actually a really good name.
Oh, God, I hadn't heard that. Should have mentioned that. Okay. But yeah, Pretty Deadly and Grizzled Young Veterans. I've got women's action again for my, what are we at? Fifth match?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is Rio versus Ginny.
Oh, that'll be a good match. Rio and Ginny will definitely be able to go for it. This will be a fantastic, hard-hitting match. And also, I love the way that Ginny reacts when she's hurt. She really does sell like nobody else. And I think that Rio will be able to hurt her.
Yeah, and I think on the other side of that, I think her viciousness, her way of controlling matches, gaining heat, she's the perfect opponent for Riho, and I wanted to have Riho on the card because I truly believe she's a star.
I've got my first women's match next. I have Kaylee Ray versus Lizzie Evo, who is now known as Alexis.
No, Eliza Alexander.
Yep. Versus Mariah May. Kaylee Ray, Lizzie Evo, Mariah May.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. And then
go.
I've got a tag match.
Ooh.
Kings of the North with, in their corner, Mr. Adam Flex Maxted versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland.
Good match, yeah. No, I see that match. I like that match. It's a good match.
Thank you.
With Butch in his corner?
No.
I've got my celebrity match now.
Oh, God.
And I decided to stick with it. Is Anthony Ogogo, because he's
I thought you were about to say Anton Deck.
Anthony Ogogo, he is a celebrity wrestler in his own right at the moment anyway. And he'll be taking on former UFC middleweight champion Michael Bisping. This match will probably be absolutely atrocious because they won't be able to pull their own punches. But the war of words leading up to this would sell it. These guys would go at each other.
I think you've missed a trick.
Conor McGregor?
No. Tyson Fury.
I did think about Tyson Fury. I also thought about Conor McGregor, but I just thought Ogogo and Bisping, because McGregor, he's quite small, and he'd be a lot smaller than Ogogo.
He would be.
Whereas Bisping wouldn't be so small against Ogogo.
Can I just do a quick aside here? I know he's not British, and I know he's a bit of a dick, but Logan Paul at Wrestlemania, did you see his match?
I did.
He was bloody good.
He's an athlete. He looks after himself, and it's not like he's a. I mean, he's an athlete. He's a former wrestler. He's been boxing. He's been training. He's doing all this. He's got personal trainers. So yeah, he was able to pull off a decent enough match. don't get me wrong, if he tried to continue to, you'd start to see some of the chinks fall away. But I think, you know, an athlete like that usually should be able to pick up certain things.
So we're on to our last 3 matches.
Last 3 matches. Okay. Right. I'm going to go. My triple main, my third main event, if you like. It is Doudrop, Kaylee Ray, and Nikki Cross as a as a 6-man tag against the She-Wolves and Angel Hayes. ICW versus ICW.
I'm feeling a little Scottish here.
Versus the present. And to be honest, there's so many similarities between some of these competitors as well. You know, so I think it's great. Little old versus new, if you like.
I like it. Viper's in my next one as well.
Go for it.
Because I can't say G-Drop. Viper versus Rio, 1-on-1.
Okay.
I want to see that match. I really want to see that match.
My semi-main event is Finn Balor versus Zack Sabre Jr. 1-on-1, nothing else. Mano a mano. Finn Balor versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Finn Balor didn't make my my grouping, so I'm going to be interested because I know who I've got for mine. I've got 2 1-on-1s. My semi-main event, Tyler Bate versus Michael Oku. I think those 2 would bring out the best in each other.
Thank you very much. Right there. What is your main event?
Pete Dunne versus Will Ospreay. I thought about making it a triple threat with Cara Noir, but no, 1-on-1, Pete Dunne, Will Ospreay, and I think that I'm going to add a stipulation to it as well. I'm going to make it a 30-minute Iron Man match. Only a 30-minute because it's the main event, and by that time people are knackered. I can't do a 60.
Okay. My main event. They've only faced each other once. It'll be Will Ospreay. It's the one man he has never beaten because he's only faced them once and he has lost to them. Pac. Will Ospreay versus Pac in the main event of Brit-Wres-A-Mania. Because they would absolutely tear the house down. And you'll notice one thing I didn't do is I made sure there would be no other true flipping match on the card.
Oh, I'm going to be a Vader and get angry at them.
Stand out like us because there'll be nobody doing what they're going to do leading up to that match. I also feel like I have done a very good lot of variety in my show.
I bloody hate you, you bastard! You win that main event wins.
I don't blame you for forgetting about Pac because AEW seem to have forgotten about bloody Pac, who seems to have just disappeared again. You notice I didn't mention Pac on the bit because he's nowhere to be seen.
You're right. That main event is one that I would love to see.
Yeah, they've only faced once before, and that was for the Rev Pro UK Cruiserweight Championship, which Pac won. And so, therefore, it was because it had to be Will Ospreay in the main event. There was no other. It had to be, so it just had to be. Who was that right opponent?
I can't believe neither of us used Cara Noir.
No, I didn't use Chris Ridgway either.
I did.
I didn't, and yeah, I did. So Chris Ridgway, Cara Noir. Right now, it's just because their names aren't big enough outside of thing. I left off Mark Haskins, Big Damo, Joe Hendry,
Kirby,
Martin Kirby. I left off Doug Williams. Didn't have a guy like JD Fleich on the card. Who else did we leave off? Anyone current ICW male performers? No Kez Evans. No. So, you had the Factors cabinet there. Sorry, yeah. So you did have some ICW male performers, but yeah, as I say, it just sometimes it just the way the matches what I wanted, as much variety in things, and I thought these were the matches for me.
Mm.
We could do a whole. It could be. We have to do a 2-day one next year. Next year, Brit-Wres-A-Mania is just going to have to be a 2-day card, like real WrestleMania. There's only one way to make it possible.
Speaking of 2-day cards,
Progress.
Yeah, the Atlas tournament.
Yes, the Progress Wrestling have announced the brackets for the upcoming Atlas tournament. It's going to be taking place over Chapter 131, The Beard of Zeus, and which is on the 17th of April, and Stop Motion Skeleton Battle, Chapter 132, on the 18th. The actual first round matches were Jonah versus Shaft, Ricky Shane Page versus Joe Hendry, Warren Banks versus Axel Tisca, and Big Damo versus Luke Jacobs. So the 3 entrants that were added were Luke Jacobs, Warren Banks, and Shaft.
Told you Warren Banks would be in there.
I just thought they would save Warren Banks for the Super Strong Style Super 16 because I don't know. I just felt like they need to get him back challenging Gresham as soon as possible.
They need to get him established as a heavyweight.
Is that? I just think because for me he's in between. Yes, he's a heavyweight, but he's on kind of the lighter heavyweight side of it. But I just think he's Super Strong Style 16 because he needs to be back against Gresham to win that title. He needs to be the next person to hold the Progress Wrestling Championship, in my opinion. And the Atlas title, for me, isn't a title he should be going after. And that's why I didn't think Warren Banks should be in it. But the match between Jonah and Shaft has already actually taken place. It took place at Defy 60 show, which was like back a little while ago, actually. And Jonah won. So Shaft has been eliminated. Jonah has moved on to the semi-finals. So he will be there on day 2. You will be there on day 2.
I will indeed.
And Big Damo will be right about here. Somewhere around one of these, because we will be speaking to Big Damo ahead of the Atlas Championship. Hopefully, if it all goes well, it should be released the next day after this.
I am very excited for Big Damo versus Luke Jacobs. Luke Jacobs has been on an absolute tear all over the UK recently, and I think that he is going to have Big Damo's best match of the year so far.
Indeed. The hardest match of this one to call is the Warren Banks versus Axel Tisca match.
Yeah.
Because for me, I feel like the final kind of has to be Damo Hendry.
The thing is, the winner of Warren Banks and Axel Tisca goes on to face the winner of Big Damo and Luke Jacobs.
Yes.
And I can see Tisca versus Damo as a match that a lot of people would love to see.
Yes, I agree. And I think that
but I want Warren Banks to win.
Case. I want to, yeah. My hopes would be that he gets screwed by CCK.
I think it's quite likely.
So I think that's possibly what that's going to be. But I feel like the main event's going to be Damo versus Hendry. And I think Damo is going to be the first new Atlas champion. Who do you think will win?
Well, Damo's got a friend in the UK at the moment. He's not advertised as part of this, but he is over here, and that would be Mr. Eric Young. Yes. So maybe there could be some shenanigans. But I think Damo for the championship, Damo for the Atlas.
Yeah. The reason I'm picking Damo is Damo was actually in the original inaugural round robin tournament to crown the first ever Atlas champion. Obviously he failed, but yeah, so that's why I think Damo, I think it's kind of full circle. It's like he was in the first, now he's in the new, now he's the big man on campus.
So what other matches have we had announced?
Other matches announced are the Royal Aces, which is Charlie... I've lost her name. Charlie Morgan. Sorry, Charlie Morgan. And Jetta versus Mercedes Blaze and Tonga.
Nice.
You got Sky Smithson versus Alexis Falcon.
Yeah, this is because Sky Smithson attacked Alexis Falcon after the match that we saw on the 10th anniversary show.
Indeed. You've got the 0121 versus
champions,
the Sunshine Machine for the Tag Team Championships.
Former champions.
And in the main event of night one of the Atlas tournament weekend,
let's admit it, you're having a little bit of a wet dream here.
Chris Ridgway versus Jonathan Gresham. And that's going to be a hell of a match.
Oh, yes.
They've already faced each other once for the ROH Championship, which, of course, Jonathan Gresham did win. So it'll be interesting to see who wins in this rematch for the main title itself. Of course, you'll have the semi-finals and the finals on the night 2. And so far, other than that, have been announced as Spike Trevay versus Danny Black.
Yep, I'm looking forward to that match. I think those two, again, will have a real good back and forth match.
And they will be joined by recently announced for his opportunity to be in Super Strong Style 16. It'll be Gene Money versus Jonathan Gresham. If he wins, it's non-title. And if he wins, he goes through to the Super Strong Style 16.
I hadn't seen this.
It's literally just come through today. It was announced, I think, 6 o'clock earlier today.
Oh, wicked.
So that's a match.
I'll be completely honest with you. I've been playing a new computer game this afternoon up until now. So no, yeah, wow. Excellent.
Should be a very, very good match.
Progress have also announced all of their up-and-coming dates for the London shows and also their Deadly Viper tour. This is going to be a tour coming across the UK, particularly up north. On the 13th of August, Progress presents Copperhead at the O2 Academy in Sheffield. On the 14th, Progress presents Cottonmouth at the Boiler Shop in Newcastle. The 25th of September, they are going to go all the way across to present California Mountain Snake at the O2 Academy in Birmingham. 9th of October, Sidewinder at the O2 Brits in Manchester. And then on the 16th of October, Snake Charmer at the Tramshed in Cardiff. Chapter 130 and 131, which I was at, are now available on Demand Progress.
Yeah, and not on the WWE Network either.
No, I had noticed that.
So did I. I've been meaning to ask my contacts at Progress to see if it's just going to be a delay or if there's something possibly in the works. But yeah, should be good. I will definitely be at the October 9th show in Manchester, as well as the 14th of August show in Newcastle. Probably might not be too hard for me to get to Sheffield, so if I can, I will for the Sheffield show as well.
Sweet.
And of course, you'll be at the night 2 of the Atlas tournament. You'll be there to see the G Money versus Jonathan Gresham match. You'll be there to see the final. Unfortunately, neither of us can attend on night 1.
Right, so thank you, Progress. You're doing wonderful things, and we love you very much.
Indeed, and we're not going to. We did the results for the both Progress shows. Just to remind you of what we gave them. I gave chapter 131, which I was at. 130, which I was at. I gave that 4.5 sugars. Dan was at chapter 131, and you gave that.
I gave that the full, unadulterated. Oh my God, I can't believe it. 5 sugars.
Yeah, it was an absolutely fantastic show, I must admit. Anyway, Rev Pro UK.
Yes.
Earlier, towards the end of last week, they announced the return of the Great British Tag League.
Yeah, very happy to see that coming back.
Any names, any teams that you would like to see this year in Rev Pro UK's?
Well, they have announced. There have been a few recent debuts, including Pure Beef, who I love, Will Cruz and Powerhouse Blake. So yeah, I'm very happy to see that. Any other ones? I know it's unlikely. I'd love to see the Brothers All.
Kings of the North have yet to make their Rev Pro UK debuts, if I'm right.
I think you're right with that as well.
Could be nice to see the Meat Wagon or Synergy, depending on wherever they are. Yeah, good to see Pure Beef. I think that'd be a great team for the Great British Tag League.
Or the Bryant Brothers.
Sorry,
the Bryant Brothers.
Bryant Brothers, not quite yet ready yet for Rev Pro UK.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree.
Not for the Rev Pro UK, not for the Tag League. Because you're going to have the usual suspects. You're going to have Sunshine Machine. You're going to have the 0121. You're going to have Destination Everywhere.
Yeah.
Seems like
and you're going to have some version of...
probably Yota and Shota as well teaming, because they've been teaming together a lot. I don't know.
Gideon Gray's faction.
Well, he's been using Yota and Shota as his tag team recently, but I think he's just trying to drive a wedge deeper between the two. He's doing it on purpose. It's a great little story, actually.
Yeah. So yes, the British Tag League will be fandabidozy. Who else have we seen making their debuts for Rev Pro?
L.A. Taylor.
Yeah. Tonight, in fact, or was that? No, that was last night, wasn't it?
That was last night. I'm not sure if anybody made their debuts tonight. There was 3 shows this weekend, 2 in Huntingdon and 1 in Southampton tonight. But yeah, good to see new players in the game for Rev Pro UK.
Indeed. Insane Championship Wrestling, the Meat Wagon, better known as Synergy, Troy Ryan and Anderson Daniels will challenge the Kings of the North for the ICW Tag Team Championships at Bard, which will, of course, because it's at Bard, it will be in a steel cage, and that is on the 24th of April. Plus, Thatcher's Cabinet will face Ravy Davy, Luking Sharp, and Krieger. If Thatcher's Cabinet win, their opponents must join the faction. I'd love to see that. If Davy, Sharp and Krieger win, they choose Thatcher's Cabinet's next opponents. Ooh.
Yeah, weird stipulation, that one, isn't it? Choosing the next opponent. But yeah, I'm sure they've probably got something in mind. Great to see the Meat Wagon, Troy Ryan, Anderson Daniels, Synergy, being promoted as one of the top tag teams right now.
Yeah, and they deserve it.
Big old deadly boys, they really, really are.
I love their passing across during the suplex. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Delayed vertical, that's the words I couldn't think of.
Well, lots happening at TNT Extreme right now. Lots and lots happening at TNT Extreme, of course. So we knew that the La Rebellion, the NWA Tag Team Champions, Mac Wolf and Bessie Sace were coming to challenge the Kings of the North, Damien Corbin and Bonesaw, for the TNT Extreme titles. But announced recently, it will now be a title versus title match. NWA Tag Team Championships will be on the line. TNT Extreme Championships will be on the line. The Kings on the North will be the next NWA Tag Team Champions.
It will be epic.
It really, really will. It's massive to see what TNT Extreme have been doing recently for Liverpool and wrestling scene in general, and they've had a long history of bringing great international competitors.
They have indeed, and they've brought in a British legend to take on Dan Maloney for the TNT Heavyweight Championship, the Extreme Championship. Dean Allmark.
Indeed, yeah. So they should have a blistering match. So this is on the 9th of June, but before that is TNT Extreme all-women's show, TNT Sirens Fury, which is on the 28th of April. Alexis Falcon defends her TNT Extreme Championship against Max the Impaler, Riho, and Ivy.
Wow.
Plus,
and I'm very excited by this next one.
the She-Wolves will return to face the Libre Birds. And possible hints of maybe TNT Extreme Women's Tag Team Championships.
That would be lovely if it happens.
Indeed. Alex Windsor will be making her debut for the TNT Extreme, and she will be facing Session Moth Martina, who is another one I left off my list.
Yeah, me too. The Uprising will debut.
Indeed. And there will be a Sirens Rumble. The entrants have been announced as a 10-man Rumble. It is Ava, or Ava White, Harley Hudson, Lana Austin, Gia Adams, Heidi Katrina, Clementine, Kyra Chimera, Lucia Lee, Aurora Tevers, and Tonga. The winner will become the new #1 contender.
Very exciting news.
And then there's TNT Ignition Aftershock.
Yeah, which will feature Cameron Solis versus Sam Bailey, Tate Mayfairs versus Sonna Durson, and MVK
Falgabius
versus Isaac North in a knockout or tap out match.
Yeah, two extremely big lads, both Isaac North and Falgabius MVK. Sorry, he probably literally hates me for doing that every time. Same with Falgabius. You can't help it.
That's why I let you do it.
It's the original, what is it, Corvonius?
I don't know. I'll just let you dig your own hole, mate.
Lottinger, I think it used to
Cavonia.
Yeah, something like that. And that is on Sunday. And I'll find out for you. That is on the 22nd of May.
Wicked. Quick, some big stories from across Europe.
Yeah, indeed. Jörn Simmons has become the 3-time WXW Unified World Champion. This happened at WXW 16-Carat Revenge Tour. He defeated Tristan Archer and Axel Tisca. Plus, Baby Allison became the new WXW Women's Champion as she defeated Ava Everett and Iva Koloski. The men's match was originally supposed to be a tag team match with Levanio teaming with Jörn Simmons against champion Tristan Archer and Axel Tisca. Levanio pulled out. The match was turned into a triple threat. It was just going to be a non-title match. But new sporting director Norman Harris came down to the ring and made it a championship match. And it was won by Jörn Simmons. Other matches on the card, Rotten the Flot defeated Hector Invictus and Dennis Dolan thanks to some shenanigans. Heisenberg defeated Gil Blanc because he's a giant and Gil Blanc is not. Fast Time Mudo and Stephanie Mays retained their tag team championships against Michael Knight and Bobby Guns in what was the match of the night. And Maggot defeated Norman Harras to retain his Shotgun Championship, and the crowd absolutely love Maggot right now. Really, really do. Overall, this is a really good show. It's available on WXW now, and so go watch it. I would give this show 3.5 sugars.
Sweet. Bodyslam Pro Wrestling. Emerson Jane became the first ever Bodyslam Pro Women's Champion, defeating Alice Inc. at the Women's Wrestling Bodyslam Showdown on the 2nd of April. Brandes Pagne regained the Bodyslam Tag Team titles as well.
Yes, defeating Michael Fine and Tank, who had won the titles only a month before. Do you want to tell us about what happened on NXT UK?
I will do when I get my notes up. There we go.
Good,
we started off with Primate versus Wild Boar. This was better than Wild Boar versus Tyson T-Bone because they are both of a more similar size and build. T-Bone, however, did interfere and distracted the referee, allowing Eddie Dennis to knock out Wild Boar with a chain. Afterwards, they put the chain on Boar and beat him down until Mark Andrews came out to make the save.
Yes, Mark Andrews is collecting a new sub for his club.
Indeed.
Sub club.
Will this bring us to forget about Wild Boar and bring back Mark Andrews versus Eddie Dennis. Yes, please.
I'd much rather have that because I get that Mike Hitchman is a very good wrestler. He's a very scary guy as well when he comes. But I think he might be just better suited behind the production team these days.
It's a possibility
with the training of the young stars. It's going to be a feud that I don't think really serves anyone's purpose.
No.
I think all 6 of these guys aren't really going to go much further in NXT UK than they are right now.
No, you're probably right. Sam Gradwell was then being interviewed about what he did last week, which, for the record, was help Tate Mayfair's friend of the show win his debut match. He was asked if he was proud of himself. He said yes, and more is to come. But then he found a load of maggots in his workout bag. Because, what, they couldn't afford cockroaches?
Yes. Okay. I would just go with this. This is a better feud than the previous feud.
Yeah, right.
It's a more interesting feud.
Def Familia meet up, and Dempsey will take out Wolfgang, and Tehrman will have his hands full with A-Kid next week. In the gym, the Coffee Brothers were getting angry with Jack Stars and Dave Mastiff over being noisy and grunting lots. The Gallus boys can't do anything, can they, as far as video packages go?
It's gotten to the point where the De Familia ones are almost getting as bad as the firm segments.
Mm-hmm. They're just all awful at the moment. I'm sorry.
And yeah. Until Lilia goes, I can't see Coffee becoming the main guy at some point.
However, what wasn't awful was the next match. Wolfgang versus Charlie Dempsey. This reminds you that Wolfgang can wrestle as well as brawl. Really, really good match. Dempsey blocked a spear with a knee, which was brilliant. Dempsey is looking amazing. Yeah. And the other thing I really liked was this was different from his most recent matches. It did have a completely different feel to it, in my opinion, to the last few Charlie Dempsey matches. And then all of a sudden, the eye of De Familia showed on the Tron. Rohan Raja distracted Wolfgang, and he ate a spear. And then Dempsey did a bridging double underhook suplex to win. And it was, again, a thing of beauty because everything Charlie Dempsey does is. I
really do love the double underhook bridging the suplex. It's phenomenally difficult maneuver because the way you have to be able to bend your head and neck to be able to pin the shoulders to the mat is ridiculous. And I think there's been about 4 people in I can say can actually pull it off properly. So just great. Dempsey's brilliant. I think there's a few faces that need to be moved out of NXT UK, and we need a lot more new faces in NXT UK right now.
I'm going to get onto that in a minute. Meiko Satomura then did an interview, which, even though it's her second language, made more sense than most of the other interview sections we have. I am a champion without a championship because it's been stolen by Isla Dawn. Short, sharp, to the point, made sense. Thank you very much. I appreciate that interview.
Yes.
Kenny Williams then found that his clothes had been stolen because this is Raw back in the day when Chris Jericho had his clothing stolen by the Dudley Boys. Yay. Lizzie Evo was shown as the new helper to Bratty Brookside. She is now being known as Eliza Alexander. Not so keen on the name. Happy with the tag team.
Yeah, I mean, maybe could have just kept the Lizzie Alexander would have been better than Eliza Alexander. Maybe they'll shorten it to Lizzie Alexander, hopefully, rather than Eliza.
It's a good opportunity if they change her face to do a name change. So I think that could work as well.
You realise this is all because she fancies Trent Alexander of Liverpool.
Mustache Mountain were then backstage with Smith and Carter. It was announced they'll have a 2 out of 3 falls match in 2 weeks' time.
Really
I'm happy
looking
with
forward to that.
Wolfgang then comes across the coffees and wonders where the hell they were. Joe says, tough luck, get on with it. Mark apologises. Gallas are falling apart. Roderick Strong then took on Ilya Dragunov in a very, very good match. But I felt very
by the numbers.
Yes. My issue is I feel, and I don't feel this because of the way he wrestled at the Progress show, but at the moment, Dragunov's WWE matches are very much by the numbers because they are very much Dragunov gets hurt and fights from underneath.
Yeah.
He is a babyface champion, but he is a champion and he should be a strong champion, not a, oh my God, he can only just make it. Dragunov got hurt when he was given a shoulder breaker on the steps. He looked strong throughout, which is great. His arm did give way twice. He went for torpedo and missed, and then Dragunov got thrown onto the steps on the outside again. Strong slam, Dragunov on the ropes, only got a 2 count. Dragunov hits 2 jumping enziguris and a back elbow slap, and then the torpedo to win. It was a good match, but NXT UK, you've bloody well done it again. What did you not have this week?
Women's match.
A women's match. So what do you automatically lose?
At least a star.
At least a sugar.
At least a sugar, yeah.
Therefore, you only get 2.5 sugars this week.
I'm going to follow suit and I'm only going to give it 2.5 sugars. As good as the main event was between, I felt it was very clean, very by the numbers. And I just felt like there wasn't as an edge to it as there have been with a couple of other Ilya matches. In particular, say the one he had against A-Kid, which I felt was Ilya's best defense so far of the title. And even his match against Nathan Fraser, for me, was better than the match he had with Roderick Strong. It just felt so clean and
yeah, it weren't all that.
It didn't have the edge.
In fact, you know what? I'm actually going to change my mind. I'm going to lower it to 2 sugars.
I'll stick with my 2.5. I'm going to be nice. Let's look at some of the top picks for next week. Friday the 15th, go check out Modern Nomad Pro Wrestling for 00 UFO in Cheltenham. Experimenting Bowlerama, Elijah LK Messinger and Splits McPins versus Northwest Strong, Luke Jacobs, Scott Oberman, and Riho. The 0121 versus Lycos Jim, Kid Lycos 2, and Nico Angelo. Chris Ridgway is going to kill poor Harry Chapman.
It's a murder.
It's a murder. Lee Hunter versus Josh Orlando is a match I really, 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 really want to see, as is Kid Lycos versus Martin Kirby.
Saturday the 16th, Entertainment Wrestling Association, EWA, Lord of the Ring in High Wycombe. Bullet will take on Joel Redman. Alexander Roth versus Jordan Said. Simon Miller versus Lucian Phillips. Connor Mills versus The Captain. Vanity versus The Beards, and Jim Diehard, Big Jim, versus Charlie Winston.
And
I am hoping to be there.
You are hoping? I thought you were. Oh, okay.
I am hoping to be there. I have every intention of being there. I've just got to double check. Not unfortunately, I may have a family commitment.
Hopefully Stephen can make it for us, though.
The aim is to be there because I was in High Wycombe yesterday getting a new coffee machine, so it's not too far for me.
No. But yes, we got the invite, and I believe yourself and Stephen are hopefully going to be there. Hopefully Stephen will be there anyway for us, maybe.
Definitely.
Roman reporter like he does for UBW for us. Pro Wrestling Ambush are in. I've got Double Clash in Ely, Cambridge. Spike Trevay versus GK Cooper.
Yay!
Damon Moser versus Chuck Mambo. Mike Bird versus Warren Banks. Ava White versus Laura Di Matteo. The Two Good Eggs versus Jack Kent and Jake O'Grady. And Dan Maloney versus Danny Black.
It is the LWF's Slamaganza, their biggest show of the year in Chorley, Lancashire. We will have Clash versus Nick Cutter. Lachlan Sharp versus Rob Drake. Aiton Steen versus Stephen Cross. Synergy versus the Merseyside Mercenary Squad versus the Models versus the Wrecking Crew. That is going to be a great match. And Kelly Van Ness versus Bob Coston versus Tonga and Nate. Kelly Van Ness and Bob Coston versus Tonga and Nate Reese. And then Sonna Durson takes on Reynaldo for the championship.
Indeed. DNA Pro Wrestling have got Everybody Get Up, It's Time to Space Jam, which is in Ipswich. Sky Smithson versus Evie Madden. Tate Mayfairs versus RKJ. Xander versus Damien. CJ Carter versus Forrest Hayes. Corey McRae versus Paul Robinson. BDSM versus The Rebellion. And the Lads versus Tim Lee and Cobra in a Beach Party Death Match.
If you want to find out more about that, you can jump on and listen to our interview with one of the lads, Mr. Alex Echo, which is currently available on YouTube and on Spotify and on the Johners Podcasting Network and many, many other places.
Indeed. Power4 TV as well.
Yeah.
If they've uploaded. Okay. It's time for a few more further roundup parts. Here we go. Wrestle Carnival. Wrestle Carnival have announced that the Carnival will be coming to London later this year. More names have been announced for Ringmasters in Coventry on July 10th. They include Big Guns Joe, Lucia Lee, Man Like Doris, Evie Madden, and Charlie Morgan. Plus, Alex Windsor will defend her Queen of the Carnival Championship against Lana Austin. But before all that is The Hunt on the 22nd of May in Nottingham. And the Carnival recently added Joseph Connors against his student, Riley Nova.
Phenomenal! Elite Wrestling PEW are back on the 30th of April with foregone conclusion. One match has been announced so far, as Aurora Tevez will defend her women's championship against Rio and Harley Hudson. And Mariah May has been announced to make her debut and will be the first competitor in the Fallen Angel Championship tournament.
Indeed. Plus, just announced, in the main event for the men's championship, it'll be Martin Kirby defending against Just Joe Lando.
Woo! I'm going to be there for that one.
You can take this one.
Kamikaze Pro Wrestling. 2 huge matches have been added to Sky's the Limit 8, including Warhorse, the American legend in the making, versus Luke Douglas, as well as Zaya Brookside's return as she faces Mariah May and Rio in a triple threat.
Yeah, awesome to see Zaya Brookside making an independent date. Hopefully, she brings her bratty Brookside to the table. Hopefully, we get a brat off between Zaya Brookside and Mariah May, because that would be very entertaining. Black Country Championship Wrestling are back on the 29th of April with Showdown in Sedgley.
Yes. The main event has been announced as the 0121 facing the Clarkwood brothers. We're going to have to get Black Country on at some point and have a chat with them, because they've been putting on some great matches recently.
They really, really have. Somebody who will be on the show soon are all 3 of the promoters from United Wrestling. And United have announced 3 matches for their upcoming United Wrestling Day 5. Mayday on the 1st of May. This is in Oxford, and it includes Mariah May defending her women's championship against Lizzie Evo. Adonis Payne versus Harry Sefton. Aluna Blue versus Kyra Kamara. And Richie D. Light versus Sunset Skip.
Yay! Wrestling Resurgence have announced that they'll be introducing a new title at the Double Show Day on the 23rd of April. The Art House Championship. From the triple threats to fatal four-ways and battle royals to scrambles, this brand new title will always be defended against more than one opponent. I like that. I think that's good. 6 competitors will battle it out to become the inaugural champion. They are Rhea O'Reilly, Jim Monet, Man Like Doris, Nico Angelo, Laura Di Matteo, and Visage.
I like the idea of this championship, and that looks like a very strong lineup. North Wrestling NCL. North are back on the 14th of May with We Truly Mean All Disrespect, and that is at the Anarchy Brewery in Newcastle. Liam Slater will challenge Rory Coyle for the North West Championship. Plus, Joe Hendry and JB Warhorse will be in action. Then, on the 29th of May, North make their way south to Sheffield, where Joseph Connors will be in action.
You call that south? You call that south? That's not south.
South from Newcastle.
True. British Wrestling Revolution. 4 matches have been announced for BWR Underground 10. Will Cruz will defend his Underground Championship against Miles Kamen. Tonga versus Natalie Sykes. Riley Nova and Joseph Connors will take on the team of Robbie X and Callum Newman. Scotty Rourke will defend his BWR Cruiserweight Championships against Jet Marshall and Leon Slater in a 3-way match.
They all sound like banging matches.
They do. They really do.
One final story from Europe before we go is the Italian Wrestling Association and Lucha Libre Barcelona are set to collide against each other in Rome, Italy on the 5th of June. Lucha Libre Barcelona versus the Italian Wrestling Association. Excellent to see promotions working together. We love that. We love UK wrestling. We love European wrestling. Anything else we love? We just love wrestling.
Go wrestling.
Go wrestling. Indeed. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, just remember one thing. Don't feed the trolls.